There's a conversation that most families, well, we tend to put it off until it's too late. It can feel really overwhelming, I get it. But getting this right, it's literally the key to protecting everything you've worked for. So today, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about planning for care. So let's get right to it. What happens if it's more than a quick doctor's visit? What happens if you, or someone you love, needs real, hands-on, ongoing help? That's the central question we're really going to tackle here.
Okay, so right off the bat, most people hear the word care and kind of lump it all together. But they're actually two totally different things. You've got short-term care, which is all about recovery, and then you have long-term care, which is all about assistance. They might sound alike, but trust me, understanding this one difference, it is the key to everything that follows.
All right, so let's start with short-term care. I really like this way of putting it, the bridge to recovery. Think of it exactly like that, a temporary path designed to get you from a specific medical event back to your everyday life.
The key words here are temporary and goal-oriented. There's a finish line in sight. The whole point, the entire purpose, is to help you recover and get your independence back after something specific has happened. So, what kind of events are we actually talking about here? Well, it's things like recovering from a major surgery, getting over a significant illness, or an accident like a broken hip. This could mean rehab, some skilled nursing, or maybe just some extra support while you heal at home. The main takeaway is that it's for a limited time. We're talking days, weeks, or maybe a few months.
And this is where things get tricky. It's something we call the rehab window. So many people just assume, oh, Medicare will cover my recovery. But it is absolutely not that simple. Here's the deal. Medicare might cover a piece of it, but only for a very limited time and only if you check a whole bunch of very specific boxes. And once that window closes, or your care is no longer considered skilled, that coverage can just stop abruptly, and that can be a real shock.
Now, let's pivot to the other side of this coin, the long-term care reality. If short-term care was the temporary bridge, think of long-term care as the solid foundation you need for daily living when you just can't do it all on your own anymore. Notice that shift in language? It's huge. We're not talking about recovery anymore. The new word is assistance. This is for when a condition is chronic and you simply need ongoing help with the basic activities of daily living. And the timeline? Well, it's completely different. We're not talking about weeks. This could go on for years.
And what are those activities? We're talking about the absolute essentials, the things we all do every single day without a second thought, right? Getting dressed, bathing, eating, even just moving safely around the house. This is the kind of fundamental support that allows someone to live with dignity.
Okay, so this brings us to probably the most important question we're going to ask today. If this is such essential, ongoing care, well, it just makes sense that our standard health coverage would handle it, right? Medicare's got our back on this, doesn't it?
And here it is. This is the one answer that honestly floors so many families. Let me be perfectly clear. Medicare does not cover most long-term care. I'll say it again. Medicare does not pay for ongoing assistance at home or in assisted living or in a nursing home. It just wasn't designed for that. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest and most dangerous misconception out there. So, if Medicare isn't paying, then who is? Well, the reality is pretty stark. The cost typically comes straight out of your pocket, from personal savings and income, or people start liquidating assets, selling the family home, cashing in stocks. The last resort for many is to spend down everything they have until they're poor enough to qualify for Medicaid, which has incredibly strict low-income requirements.
Now, I know that sounds grim, but it really doesn't have to be that way. This is where we shift from the problem to the solution. Because having a plan, it is an incredible act of empowerment for you and for your family. It puts you back in the driver's seat.
So here's the bottom line. Planning serves two different but equally vital purposes. A plan for short-term care protects your recovery from getting derailed by surprise bills. But a plan for long-term care, wow, that protects your entire future. Your retirement savings, your home, your spouse, it protects all of it from being drained by years of costs.
And the good news here is that you have options. There are solutions out there. This is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Your strategy could involve specific insurance policies or maybe hybrid products. The whole point is to find the right approach that works for your specific situation.
As we start to wrap this up, I want to reframe this whole conversation. Because while we've talked a lot about costs and money, planning for care is ultimately about so much more than that. It really is.
First things first, let's get this straight.
This is not about being afraid. A good plan isn't built on fear. It's designed to take fear out of the equation. Instead, it's about independence. It's about having control. A plan means you get to make the choices about where and how you receive care, rather than leaving those critical decisions up to chance.
And ultimately, it's about dignity. It's about ensuring you can live comfortably and with respect without ever feeling like a burden on the people you love.
And that brings me to what is, for me, the most important part of all. A plan is one of the greatest gifts you can give your family. It protects them from having to make impossible financial and emotional decisions right in the middle of a crisis. It's a true act of love.
So let's end with this one simple thought. Being proactive is always, always better than being reactive in a crisis. The absolute best time to put a strategy in place is now, while you're healthy and you have the most options available. Having this conversation today can protect your families tomorrow.